Well, a very good afternoon. Welcome along to Thursday, the 10th of November's Light Bite Lunch. I'm absolutely delighted to once again be joined to a regular contributor to the show, Brendan Murphy. So, Brendan, thank you very much for joining us again. And I'm glad to
Well,
say we're going to talk about a lot of happier things than what we normally discuss with you, but we will come back to discussing Ukraine because of your first-hand knowledge of the whole situation and that type of thing. But more about that later. First of all, maybe Brendan, you tell us a little bit about yourself.
okay, so I'm a management and business consultant. I work internationally as well as extensively in Ireland. My recent notoriety, I suppose, is I was working and living in Ukraine, and where I live in Ukraine was the first to be attacked by the Russians, and I famously put a number of people, a cat and a dog, in a small Skoda and drove while warplanes and Russian military were trying to do terrible things to me, and they missed. And I suppose that's my notoriety for today.
Right, that's great. Thanks very much, Brendan. Well, as I said, we're glad you made it out and all of that. But as I said, for this episode, we're going to try chatting about some happier things.
Yes.
Now, I first met you probably 25 years ago, or thereabouts.
Yes, we were about 3 years old at the time.
Absolutely, absolutely. And at the time, one of the things that you were specializing in was helping companies perfect their customer experience, their customer journey.
That's
So
right.
perhaps we could start by discussing what is the customer journey.
Okay, so the starting point of a customer journey is to understand that customers are different. They fall into different descriptions. Some of them may be buyers and consumers. Some of them may be buying to give to someone else. Some of them buy for different reasons. The different reasons shape the product. And when you understand the buyer behavior, you start breaking them down into what we call personas, different types of people. So it may be somebody who has a lot of money, but they don't have a lot of time. Somebody may have a lot of time, but don't have a lot of money. Some people may be need things quickly. Some people need things over a period of time. So when you characterize the customers, each one takes a journey. And if you imagine a walk in the mountains or in a park, you have a starting point, you have a finishing point, and you have different things along the way. And especially with websites and platforms and portals, this concept of marketing developed because without understanding the journey, people couldn't use a website, couldn't buy anything, couldn't see anything. And this has now gone into every walk of life. I've used it in shopping centres, used it in petrol stations, used it in restaurants, many different concepts, and in digital, because you have a lot of ways of accessing people when you have a handheld device. You can communicate them through SMS, you can communicate through Facebook Messenger, you can use tools to reach the person. But you need to reach the person when they're ready for it. There is no point trying to sell food to someone who's just left the table because they're full, no appetite. You need to think of things in terms of when is this person most hungry for what I provide them, and how do I communicate to them at that point for them to say, yes, I definitely want to go, because that's how you increase the number of people who will come to your business. Same with flowers, same with cars and repairs for cars. Everything has a rhythm, has a journey, has certain staging posts, and this is mapped. So there are maps that you draw with little matchstick people and with little different types of things, so that you can understand this is where somebody's at, this is where they will be, and this is where we can show a sign, a display, a prompt, whether it's on a digital device, or even if you look at a petrol station, when you stop to fill your vehicle with fuel, you'll see adverts on the screen. Go and get a coffee, go and get this, buy that. Don't get the inexpensive unleaded petrol, get the super duper one that gives you an extra 3 kilometers, but it's going to cost you 20 cents more. That type of prompting is mapped out by business people like myself to support the business so that you're maximizing your opportunity to sell.
Yeah, no, that makes it very, very clear, because I was worried that when I asked you that, I know that there are some talks I've been at where they talk about the customer journey, and the first hour and a half of a 2-hour presentation is discussing the customer journey, and it's no clearer by the end of it exactly what they're saying, because I think it's fair to say it's very much a specific skill set to be able to do that and to have the mindset to do that.
Well, the art of all of this is to keep it simple. And too many people get paid by making it complicated. I don't agree with that. And I think I do agree with, I can't remember who said it. Maybe it was, I think it could have been Einstein even, who said, if I can't explain this simply, then I don't understand it well enough. And he was dealing with complex maths, with space, with things that completely and utterly outside of the real world. So I think it's very important when somebody's giving a presentation or training on customer journeys to make it relatable so that people can say, no, I get that. Yeah, I always have milk with my coffee. So when do I have coffee? Well, okay, if you're going to have the coffee then you need to have the milk at this other time. So it's logical, and you just keep it as simple as possible and enjoyable, because everybody, no disrespect to anybody with high intelligence, but people are pretty simple.
Yes. I think, Martha, it doesn't matter what the level of intelligence is. When it's simply available, it's easier to retain also the information.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the classics really is association. So, for example, for 11 months of the year, nobody will drink mulled wine or glühwein. But in the next 6 weeks, where Christmas markets are going to open up and everybody's going to be walking around the street drinking spiced alcohol. It doesn't happen before, doesn't happen, but it's registered in the experience, right? And that's how you understand. When you understand that, oh yeah, there's an example that I completely understand, you say, well, okay, what's registered in the experience for your offering, for your products?
Yeah, absolutely. And what are the quick checks that businesses could do when it comes to trying to look at, like, there's no point in somebody coming along to you and saying, right, I want you to help us perfect our customer journey, if they haven't already established how near or how far they are from what they're looking for. So what quick checks would you say to people to do?
So the quick check is, first of all, understand how a customer arrives to their business, whether it's online or whether it's physical. Let's take a physical shop selling bakery products on a corner. You need to say, okay, people come to the car park. Where do they go? Which car park do they use? That one. Right, okay, so park my car, get out my car, look around, what can I see? Where's my business? I can't see my business. Where's my sign? I can't see it. So how do I know it's there? Well, they must know before they've arrived, because, so that's something I'm going to write down and say, I need to look at that. My visibility is an issue because I'm not signposting the business properly. And then you walk from your car to the business and say, well, what's the distractions? What's going to take people away? If I'm a bakery and I'm going past somebody who's selling, a newsagent selling chocolate, I'm competing with the chocolate. Right, so how do I beat that? What's my messaging? How do I get them to keep coming to me? And sometimes bakeries will have that, you know, they'll have a fan that puts bakery smells out into the street, and people go, oh God, no, and they can't see the chocolate anymore because the nose is telling them, no, 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 follow my nose. I'm going, oh, okay, no, I need bread, and then when you get to the shop, what can you see? If you see bread, how can I buy a cream cake? Well, I can't because I don't see it, and nothing in my brain is telling me, no, I can't. Oh, wait, now I can see. But I was been thinking about bread, and I was thinking about getting a sandwich, but now I'm distracted. And the problem with that is you create a conflict. Do I want bread? Do I want a sandwich, which I can see? Or do I want a cream cake? Well, I kind of want a cream cake, but I'm distracted because I first thought about the sandwich. I don't know, so I won't buy either. And that's what happens. People will not buy because they're conflicted, odd as it might seem. And this happens in digital as well. They call it cart abandonment in digital. But this happens that people go in and businesses will go, we had a customer, they walked around, they weren't really looking at my products. They were just kind of not seeing, walking around. That's my fault. It's my job as a business to get their attention and make them stop. But if they're walking around and you say, well, do you know what, let's look at them, let's watch people for a little while. And people between 30 and 50 spend more time looking around not buying something than little children. Right, okay, so I want to sell to those people, but I'm not communicating to them. I'm not resonating with them, right? So there are 6 key words in the rule of business. Needs, wants, demands, engage, resonate, and proposition. Need is I need food. Want, I want something that smells tasty and looks good, not junk food. I demand high quality, right? And be able to see it and sense it. I engage because the bakery has all of these bakery smells and it's colorful and I can see the signs. I know how much everything is. I don't have to worry that it's going to be €2.35 for something and I don't want to pay €2.35 for, but I know the prices, so I can make the choices. Don't have to ask the person. And then the proposition is the customer experience of somebody saying, you know, good morning, good afternoon, how are you? Right? Are you well? And then people say, oh, you're talking to me. Yeah, I know, I'm okay. It's having a good day. Yeah. So, well, how can I help you? What would you like? And the moment that you start making someone feel that they belong, then your possibility of selling to them is going up and up and up and up and up. And it's the same with the motor factors selling oil and body filler and windscreen wipers. It's the same if you're selling tires. It's the same if you're selling hardware. These rules are not influenced by the type of business that you're in, but the way you apply the rules is different. And that's really where people come to me and say, okay, you know, I'm selling pizza and there's 10 pizza shops. Well, no, there only has to be one pizza shop. So what's your unique selling proposition? What is it? What is it different? Why do people want a pizza, but that's no different than saying I want to eat something. Well, there's a Chinese, there's an Indian, there's a chipper, there's this. So why is it that most of them go to that shop? Why is that more successful? What is that doing different? Right? And that's really this customer journey, this whole marketing area is really about not what you do as a business, not what your selling point is, not what you think, but your customers, based on these different personas of who is who. And well, you know, out of 100% of customers, 40% of them are that kind of person. Right, okay, so 40%. So our total available market in that 40% is how many? Okay, so when you ask these questions, you work it all out. It becomes very simple.
Yeah. Well, Maggie Geraghty has just posted a comment there saying fabulous insights, Brendan. Thanks. So
thanks,
I'm
man.
sure Maggie has a lovely little business down in Mayo, so I'm sure she'd be there taking notes and looking at what she can do in her with her own journey.
So this is important. Yeah, absolutely, because in Mayo, it has its own ecosystem, its own, one of these things is it's very personal to community, to locality, to the personal dynamics between you as a person and your customers and your community. All of that matters. And it doesn't matter whether you're in a Paris street or if you're in a country village, the rules apply. And you can see many businesses in busy city centres empty. And you see many that are in the heart of small communities where people are living well from their business success.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, where I am in rural Leitrim, there's plenty of shops I can see, and they're occasionally busy. But then I look at the likes of our local butcher, who's extremely good at what they do, and you will see people come in and be quite happy to queue up because he has perfected that in the sense that he doesn't flood social media with pictures, but when he does, he will target a particular time of the year, a particular type of product, and people come flooding in to get it. So it makes total and utter sense what you're saying. So, seeing as we've been doing all that talking about bakeries and sandwiches and cream cakes, what's your light bite lunch for today going to be?
So I'm going to go for a chocolate eclair full of fresh cream.
Oh, very tasty.
Because why not?
Absolutely, because why not? Now, just swinging back now to what you've been on the show talking about previously. We're hearing a lot in the news today in relation to Ukraine and Kherson in particular.
Yeah.
Is this actually a Russian withdrawal, or is this a setup, in your personal opinion?
Okay, so first of all, it's not a setup. It's a massive Russian defeat. They have a problem. They've 25 to 30,000 troops. Most of them, there's a mix. There's Chechens, there's elite soldiers, and there's a lot of mobilized criminals, alcoholics, people with substance abuse issues, and crazy people. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. They brought people from mental health institutions, gave them weapons, and took them to this place. So there's a lot of very mixed people in there, a lot of them heavily armed. But what's happened is Ukraine has destroyed the supply chain. So they can't get food, can't get water, can't get fuel, can't get access to weaponry and ammunition. And all of the bridges have been destroyed. So the problem for the Russians is very simple. Either these 20 to 30,000 are going to surrender, or they're going to be killed, or there's going to be some way of getting them out. And over the last 10 days, there's a lot of pro-Russians have been saying there needs to be negotiations, there needs to be peace. They're not looking for peace. They ask for negotiations because they want to get these people out in a way that doesn't means that they're not dead. Because about between 700 and 800 Russians are killed every day, every single day. Some of their elite forces have lost 80-90% of their battalions in two-day attack, right? Wiped out by the Ukrainians. And in Russia, people getting upset because, the life expectancy of someone mobilized is 4 days. So you say goodbye to somebody on a Monday, and by Thursday, someone's knocking on your door and saying, sorry, he's dead. And the idea that there's this other big wave of people being told that they're dead put pressure on the Russians. They were hoping for the Republican big red wave. They hoped Trump would be supreme. That hasn't happened. So now they're in big trouble because politically, the support of the 43 countries in the Ramstein group continues unaffected. NATO continues unaffected. The US continues unaffected. There's more weapons going in to support Ukraine, and they're getting absolutely beaten to a pulp, and none of the professionals are making an impact of any significance. But particularly in this pocket around Kherson, they are trapped, and they need to withdraw, and that's what they're saying they're doing. Now, what I will say is that the withdrawal from Kherson is no more dramatic than from Kharkiv, from Liman, and from other places. This, pack up and go home. They think it will be orderly. The balance of probability is that whatever heavy artillery, heavy tanks that are in this pocket of territory around Kherson will be left, and the Ukrainians will pick it up, repurpose it, point it at the Russians, and use it against them.
And do Ukraine have access to, basically, when they have the weapons, have they got the artillery there to use within these weapons?
Yeah, so the NASAMS and the other, I won't give you all of the blah, 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 but basically the weapons that they've been asking for have arrived now from Italy, from Bulgaria. Even Bulgaria was wobbling, but they've sent stuff to Spain, from America. There's a lot of artillery coming even from the Germans. That's been sent now, and they've also been provided with anti-drone and anti-missile defense systems. Not the Iron Dome, because the Israelis are too embedded with the Russians, although they're upset now because the Russians are embedded with the Iranians, and the Iranians want to destroy Israel. So there's tensions there. And with the new Prime Minister Netanyahu back again for however much time, that might change. But the rest of the world is fully supportive of Ukraine. So they do have a lot of kit. But then, you're going to have to kill 300,000 Russians, or they're going to leave Ukraine, one way or another. 300,000 either go home or go to God or devil, whichever takes your fancy.
Right. And I mean, we're hearing now Amnesty calling for more human rights violations for Ukrainians who've been forcibly removed into Russian territories. This has been,
I have to be careful because people can be deeply upset.
Yes,
what's happened, and we have to be careful with people's mental health. But children have been taken, young adults have been taken, pregnant women have been taken, elderly have been taken, men have been shot, women have been shot. Anything, they check phones. They murdered a family because there was a blue and white painted jam jar full of stones, right? And the child had painted it and filled it full of stones and left it in the garden. So they murdered the family. There's a lot of atrocities. Over 1 million, right, have been taken to Russia. A lot of children have been taken, stolen, and given to extremely strong Russian patriots to deprogram and program these children. And you can only imagine they've been told that their mother and father hates them, that they're not wanted, that they're going to be given a better life, but they need to understand that this and this and this. So it's truly, truly horrific. And the world doesn't want to be grown up enough to denounce that in the UN, because, of course, Russia is on the Security Council and they stop it. And you have a lot of corruption in the Vatican. You've corruption if you in the EU, and other people don't want to speak about these things, because if we all sat down and realized what was going on now today and imagined that, we will be very, very, very angry, and we would expect all of the governments to do a lot more. And they don't want to do a lot more because World War III, is coming anyway between Russia and China and Iran. They are joining some pact or other, with the North Koreans being in the mix, and they hate how we live, and they don't want us to continue to live in the way that we want to live. So we have a problem, and that's the hesitancy of these big organizations and countries.
Well, hopefully a resolution can be found in one way or another. We have had a comment from Monique Walsh saying outstanding tutorial on sales from Brendan. So
Thank you, Monique.
I'd absolutely agree with her there. So the last time you were on, you were talking about your book and the fundraising you were doing. And I know that while you've secured enough to get the publication of the book to go ahead, that more funds are still needed.
Yeah.
So I will just put up there, for anyone that can support you, the GoFundMe page is gofund.me/419EB, that's Echo Bravo 554. And if anyone can assist, certainly I know you would appreciate it. Time is absolutely running away on us, Brendan. I do want to talk with you very quickly about the Micro Business Awards.
Oh, yes. Congratulations, fantastic. It's a superb initiative. And you and my words, I can't say enough, because the way you handled everything with Cheryl and the way you performed, and you've created this support for micro businesses, is excellent, excellent.
Well, as I said, I mean, my excuse is it's a good night out. And as a small business, we're often afraid to actually step away from our business for a little bit. So I like the fact that it's a good night out and it's an excuse just to step away from the business without being actually away from the business, because you're still dealing with like-minded business people. So it can actually be very therapeutic in that regard. But I'm delighted to say that nominations will be opening next week, and anyone that's interested in knowing exactly when, just swing by the Facebook page and keep an eye on that, because we will be doing a live announcement very, very soon to announce that nominations are open over the coming week. And there'll be great excitement with that. And I'm absolutely delighted that you've actually joined the judging panel for next year.
Yes, that's right, and I'm pleased to do so. I'd make 2 points. One is business is a lonely place for everybody, but for micro businesses, it's very, very isolating, and not everybody has a supporter. So this is one of the really strong points about what you've done and how well you've done it, is that it gives people a way of networking and meeting with like-minded people and getting a bit of support and recognition, which is superb. And the second thing is, I do think that the Irish invented the word entrepreneur. It was a man from Kerry who created the concept of entrepreneur, and we as Irish people are entrepreneurial, and all he was doing was describing the Irish. And so I'm very pleased to be involved.
Well, we're delighted to have you. Brendan, the clock has caught up on us, so if people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to do so?
So you can email me at Brent. You can use the email brendan@klgtraining.com. If you want to contact me personally, it's brendan.murphy@email.com, either of those. Or you can call me on 085 766 4539, or you can look me up on LinkedIn. I was banned from LinkedIn several times because of my writing on Ukraine, but so if I'm there, I'm there, but sometimes they want to get rid of me because I write with insight on Ukraine. The Russians don't like that.
Absolutely. Well, listen, Brendan, thank you very much for all the support you've given us over the course of this year, and hopefully we will have you back on the show next year, where, again, hopefully all going well, you will be able to tell us there's more good news than bad happening within Ukraine and within the rebuilding of Ukraine. And that completes our show for this week. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time, when we're actually coming to you live from the Osprey Hotel in Nice, where we had the finals of the Micro Business Awards. And my guest will be Michael Boyle, the general manager in the hotel, who's going to be discussing hospitality in the run into Christmas. So we do hope you'll be able to join us then. And until then, we wish you all a very good afternoon.
Thank you.